Hello and welcome to Curious Awakenings with Em and Rama, where we wonder how magic and kindness connect. Today we are joined by not one but two incredible guests. One is the space we've gathered in, which is the Wright Tavern in Concord, Massachusetts, and the second is the incredible writer of several novels, books of essays, professor at UMass Lowell, Andre Dubus III. Welcome, Andre. We are so incredibly grateful to have you here today.
I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Before we get into all the delicious things we're going to talk about, I wanted to ask Rama, I haven't yet, why did you choose this space? Let's first we'll introduce our space.
Yeah. Well, I know and honor and respect that Andre's I almost said author, writer, a writer of some renown. And I know there was a few writers in Concord through the years, and there still are many. I think it's a fertile ground for writers. And when Andre said yes, it kind of pumped me up and motivated me to find someplace significant and meaningful to meet. And I thought, well, okay, I love Concord, I love it, one of my favorite places on earth. I said, well, let's do Concord, historic, and we can come up with something transcendental, maybe Walden Pond, maybe Ralph Waldo Emerson's living room, maybe the UU Church. There's so many places to choose from, maybe the Old North Bridge. But the more and more I spent time in Concord, I just kept gravitating and ending up at the Wright Tavern. Just kept ending up at the Wright Tavern. Then finally I met Mary Beth Kelly, the operations director here at the Wright Tavern, which is amazing, is doing some amazing things, by the way. And I just fell in love with the Wright Tavern. And I thought, well, I hope Andre does too. And I hope Emily does too. And I hope Mark is flexible enough to deal with all the histrionics and logistics. And so I just was wanting to have a place worthy of us all gathering. And I had a feeling Andre might appreciate this place. So
I too have fallen in love. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I mean, the fact that those 300 plus, that those beams are 300 plus years old, I find that so moving. That the men at that time, the men who built it, are long dead, but their work remains. I find that so hopeful and beautiful. This notion of leaving something behind that's positive, not negative.
Absolutely. A fun little fact we learned from Mary Beth as we entered the space today is it's in this space where they had the conversation, no more kings.
Really?
No more kings.
October 1774. She may have given you the exact date.
So right here in this room, no
right
more
here,
kings.
No more kings.
It percolated, started/percolated. Right
So
here.
we have to get 330 million Americans back into this room.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
That's
Beer?
That's a good opening question.
You get a tap room.
Beer?
Yeah.
Beer? Can I interject and do a plug for the Wright Tavern? Speaking of beer.
Please do.
Andre, do you notice what type of beer this is?
Athletic Brewing
Have
Company.
you ever had one?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
They're delicious.
So so you know they're just as good as beer with alcohol. So non-alcoholic brew. They're having their second NA beer tasting tonight here in the
Cool.
the Wright Tavern from 5 to 8. I know this isn't going to be live, so I'm announcing it like, hey, come tonight. It's going to be aired a little bit later.
There'll be other events, I'm sure,
But
for
there'll be other
people to
amazing
come
events.
check out.
Once a month, on the third Thursday, I believe, they have this thing where the businesses are open later after 5 o'clock, and I think that's where they're going to have their tastings. NA beer. No alcohol. Who needs alcohol? I don't.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway, there we go.
Wonderful.
Beer. You mentioned beer. Yeah. How did I get off on that? Tangents. I like to go off on tangents.
It's funny, I've been thinking a lot about alcohol recently, how it does have this capacity certainly to bring people together, but also I think to isolate us. Is that something that you've been curious about too?
Oh, all my life. You kidding me? I've got alcoholism on both sides of my family. I grew up around a bunch of addicts and with addicts, and oh yeah, it has the potential to there's a wonderful song by Florence and the Machine. It was a big hit, but the refrain is, I didn't build it to wreck it. And I think about, You know, so many families that have been wrecked by alcoholism and drug addiction. So yeah, it's no small thing. In moderation, if it's something that you can do healthfully, I think it's a lovely part of life. But if it's not, better to find another way to live.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Don't wreck it, or didn't build it to
Didn't
wreck it.
build it to wreck
Didn't
it.
build it to wreck
Yeah.
it.
All right, that's a
How does
wrap.
that-
That's a wrap. That's a good
Yeah.
way to end.
Well,
that great?
well, now
Yeah.
I'm wondering now about this idea of like the ephemeral, right? The idea, you know, there are people who make Zen gardens in the sand only to have them cleared, right? There are people who make sculptures with, right, so many beautiful things that are built with the intent to be destroyed.
Yeah.
What does that feel like for you as a creative person who is always creating?
You know, I first of all, I think that all human beings are meant to make things. I think we're all of us across the world, I think we're supposed to put our hands to something. I'm not talking about working in a factory and making someone else rich. I'm talking about baking bread for your lover. I'm talking about making soup. I'm talking about writing a poem, making a stone walkway from your road to your house.
Building your home.
I think we're supposed to make things. And there's a wonderful, and it may have come from a commencement talk that Kurt Vonnegut did, but I read it to my students, both undergraduates and older people. And basically, and I wish I could recite it, but what he's basically arguing is, he said, look, do art, do it now, do it for the rest of your lives. He said, do it for your soul. He said, draw a picture or write a story and then cut them up into teeny weeny pieces and drop them off into garbage cans all around your neighborhood. Don't show anyone, don't tell anyone. He said, because you've made your soul grow. And so one of the many problems I have with our current time is everything is commodified, everything is monetized. Everyone is a curator of the museum of me and their little social media feed. You know, I don't own a phone. I've never sent a text. I've never been on social media for moral reasons, philosophical reasons. And so I believe that this whole, I think it's really healthy to make something and let it go. That said, I am very grateful that, you know, a book I'll spend 3 to 5 years on is in shelves, you know, in places I've never even been. So that's a beautiful, lovely thing to, you know, have a book preserved somewhere. But boy, I think Vonnegut gets onto something with just, you know, do it for your soul. Don't worry about making a career out of it. Just, it's good for you. It makes the day better. And there's a lovely book, now 30 or 35 years old. Remember Care of the Soul by Thomas More, the Jungian psychologist?
Thomas More, but I don't know.
Gorgeous book where basically he talks all about care of the soul. That if you want your soul to feel fed every day, make something. Have small, quiet moments with your loved one.
Delicious.
You know, don't. Anyway, I have a lot of strong feelings about
that's good.
all
That's
of
good.
this.
This is my favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah, good. Talk away. What do you think?
No, I want to hear more of your thoughts. And Rama,
It's
you
all
too.
about Andre today, not about us.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
We talk a lot. We talk enough on our show.
No, it's
We wanna
about
listen.
it's about all of us.
Yeah, well, I suppose what are we each doing for our soul? What are we creating
All
right
right,
now?
ladies
Yeah.
for gentlemen.
Okay. Well, I've got a book that I've got to get out. It's like
cool.
an imperative.
Like, get out of you.
Get out of me. So here, let me do a shameless ask.
And plug, ask/plug.
Yeah.
Ask away.
And then we'll talk about the more important things. But like, it's just it's here. It's dying to come out, but I just can't seem to unleash the hounds.
Does it feel like nonfiction or fiction?
Oh, it's
You can don't censor. Don't censor him.
Sounds like memoir.
Don't censor, please.
it's nonfiction, but it will read as fiction.
What type of nonfiction fiction?
So it sounds like something you experienced, you feel you got to express.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I wonder, you know, you wrote a memoir. You wrote
Yes.
Tawny. How was it?
Well, it was an
Writing
accident.
that.
It was an accidental memoir. It came from an essay I was writing about my sons in baseball, and the question fueling the essay was, how come I didn't play baseball as a kid? Because baseball's fun. And 300 pages and 5 years later, I wrote what I was doing instead of playing baseball, moving 2 to 3 times a year for cheaper rent in the mill towns of Merrimack Valley, on and on. So I want to say something to you, though. So one thing I found over the years, when someone, you're clearly pregnant with this story.
Yeah,
Like you are
that's a good word
pregnant
for it.
with it. And so now, well, the baby has to grow inside, and then we got to have the baby. You have to have the baby. And so I found that what prevents people from getting to it are 2 or 3 things. One is, and I don't think we talk about this enough in writing circles, you're prematurely, not you personally, but this may be your issue, we prematurely are trying to make a book. Forget the book. Forget the book, because that can absolutely put a kibosh on the creative spark that's there.
Yeah,
it makes you self-conscious. It makes you prematurely anticipate the audience too soon.
Yeah.
And I think if there's any one enemy to creativity, it's self-consciousness.
Yes.
Where you're
unworthiness.
We have an eye on the mirror.
Absolutely.
I think that everybody should write across the world. If you're drawn to writing, you should write as if you know you're going to die at dawn.
Oh.
Because then you'll just write the truth. I'm going to be gone this time tomorrow, and we could be. So why not just write the truth?
Just write the truth.
But I'm going to say another thing.
But tell it slant.
Yeah, but tell it slant. Emily Dickinson. Tell the whole truth, but tell it slant.
Ooh.
Hemingway said, I try to come at material from the side like a bank shot in a billiards game. So another thing that I think that can keep this thing from moving forward is fear of hurting other people.
Yeah, how do you deal with that?
Well, Richard Russo, the great American novelist, gave me this great advice. I was writing what turned into my memoir, Townie, and I sent my editor some pages, and she said, well, all this street violence stuff is very interesting, but didn't you live with people? I said, yeah, but I don't know how to write about my family without violating their privacy. She said, but isn't that part of your story? I said, yeah. So that night, I was in a thing with Russo, and I told him what she said. He gave me the best advice I'm going to share now because it can help people. He said, if it were me, I'd ask myself, am I trying to hurt anyone with this book? And he said, if the answer is no, I go ahead and write it. No, if the answer is yes, I wouldn't write it. I'd write it, but I wouldn't publish it. If the answer is no, I go ahead and write it. And so I think that's how you handle it. If you know that your intention is just try to capture the truth from the deep subjectivity of your own emotional memory, go ahead and write it. I think the last thing that gets in the way is that already before writing, the writer is controlling the material.
Yes.
And the writer wants the material to say one particular thing. And if I've learned nothing in all my years writing and talking about writing, the writing is larger than the writer. So let go of what it's about. Don't try to make a book too soon. Write as if you're going to get executed in the morning.
I love that.
That's my advice.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's down to earth.
Thank you for that.
It's real.
Thank you for that.
All right, so that's...
Well, enough about me.
we're going
But also write short spurts. Do
Yeah,
10 or 12,
yeah.
do 10 to 15 minutes a day,
steps.
and then move on.
Can I?
Yeah.
We'll go around too about the question, but one of the things I want to honor and ask about you is one of the things I really respect about you. I don't know if that's the right word, but admire is the discipline you talk about every morning. You're at your desk, and you describe it very eloquently. Your desk, and I don't know if it's in the basement or wherever it is in your house.
It's in the basement.
Yeah. And you say you're there every morning.
Yeah.
So really, every morning? What time? So it's like, what time? How many hours? When do you get to the gym? Because I know you're a big gym guy, as I am.
Yeah.
But and I talked to Emily about this when we were prepping a couple of days ago. I said, I'm going to ask Andre, does he do weekends? Like, do you do weekends? You do writing on Saturday, Sunday mornings too?
No, I Sundays never.
Never?
Sundays, I used to go to church with my wife, who's Greek Orthodox, but the kids grew up and I don't go to anymore, and she doesn't either. Mainly because the priest is a Trumper, so she stopped going. And so Sunday mornings I read, and I don't read the newspaper. I drink too much coffee, and I'll read 4 or 5 hours a book.
Nonfiction,
or
fiction?
two. Either one, whatever I'm reading. No, I do write 5 days a week. I like 2 days off. I like a little time for the well to refill. But I might, work Monday through Wednesday, and I'll take Thursday off. Then I'll work Friday, Saturday. Sometimes Monday through Friday. But it's every morning.
Yep.
And I did it today. And
2 or 3 hours? Three
Yep.
3 to 4? Do you like block?
2.5 to 3.5. I mean,
Okay.
and no more than that. I mean, 3 is a lot. When you're composing from scratch, one word to the next. I don't outline, and I frankly don't believe in outlining. I encourage writers not to outline. There's a wonderful line from the writer Richard Bausch. She says, if you think that you're thinking when you're writing, think again. You're much closer to the dreaming side of your mind. So dream it through. So I think it's really important just to follow it. But man, that takes concentration. And after 2.5, 3 hours tops, I'm done. And then it's a matter of going to the gym and clearing my head.
Okay.
Which has been my life for years.
Yeah, I can relate. So, and when magic inspiration strikes during those outside your basement times, do you keep a pen and paper on you, little tiny notebook at the gym? Do you keep an audio thing?
You mean for the project I'm working on?
No, for
with
just
Magic?
anything. Like I have my little tiny notebook at the gym in my gym pants with a pen. Because inspiration
cool.
strikes.
That's great.
You know? Or someone says something in the gym, I don't wear headphones, I don't wear earphones, so I actually talk to human beings.
Yeah.
And they inspire me left and right, left and right, and left and right.
Always.
I don't bring my phone in. I don't have headphones. I don't on my phone if I can help it, so I can relate. My commitment to the world and to myself morally is not to be on my gadget in public, if at all possible. So do you have a method? So let's say 8 o'clock at night, you're out to dinner with your wife and boom. Oh, honey, excuse me, I got it right. You just had a thought.
No, I used to years ago, and I found that it didn't really matter if I wrote it or not. So you'll get an insight. So let's talk about two kinds of inspiration, right? There's the one where you're working for. It takes me 3 to 5 years to write a novel, and so I'll be deep in it, and there'll be all sorts of challenges within it. By the way, I don't use the word problems anymore. When I was building my house with my brother, like the subs would come up to me, "Hey, Andre, we got a problem over here, kid." I said, "No, Joe, we don't have a problem. We have a challenge." Because they're like,
we like to say opportunity.
yeah,
Opportunity.
they're like 20 a day. So I don't have any problems. I don't have any problems. I have many challenges today. I have many challenges in the book I'm working on, or the whatever I'm working on. Even I try not to call it a book, just the thing. And anyway, so I'll get a thought while I'm having dinner with my wife at a restaurant. But I don't write it down because I've discovered over the years that if it rises from the truth of the dream world that I'm in, it'll come back the next day.
Okay.
But
how do you trust that?
I learned over the years that it comes back, so I trust it.
Okay.
So so much of this is faith. So much of it. One of my favorite lines from some ancient Chinese poet: "We poets knock upon the silence for an answering music."
Can you say it again, please?
We poets knock upon the silence for an answering music. There's a psychoanalyst in Britain working these days named Bolitz, and he talks about the unthought known. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
The unthought known.
Yeah.
Rumi, sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment.
Yeah.
You know that one. That's
From
great,
you.
right? Yeah. And so, God, man, I've just discovered over the years that it's already in the work. So trust. You don't have to grasp. I will write down ideas. Like I'll get I have a little notebook full of ideas. And I'll meet a guy at the gym and I'll be struck by, because writers are vultures,
Yeah.
He tells me this horrible story of his life. I said, that's a good idea. I wrote, that guy like Joe, no legs, and his wife left him. Whatever. And then
That's a country song. That's a country
that's
song.
actually
I like
Ruby.
that song.
Yeah. It's a great song.
Yeah. Well, it is. Oh.
Yeah.
But it's so, you guys, I've been writing, I'm for 40-something years, and I have lost no enthusiasm for it because I still never know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which is why I've lost no enthusiasm. I haven't figured it out.
Beginner's mind.
Yeah.
It's open all possibilities. Expert mind is open a few. I think we've said that on air a few times.
So.
It's yoga, it's a whole yoga thing.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done.
Because I tend to, when I'm doing real good, was I at drums or at baseball, I still play. By the way, you have an invitation to pick up baseball.
Cool.
We'll talk about that later.
Cool.
And your sons, anyone you want.
Cool.
But when I think I'm doing really good at whatever, baseball, pitching, drumming, writing, it's like,
If you don't check yourself, the universe will come and check you.
Yeah, the universe has a way of tickling us with a feather. If we don't listen, it'll tickle us, throw a rock at us. If we don't tickle, throw a brick at us.
It does seem to go better when you can let the ego go at all times.
Yeah, all times.
I think it was
Humble
Philip
us.
Lopate, the great essayist. I believe he's the one who said, if you're going to write about yourself, by all means you must avoid the stench of the ego. Which is a way to live a life. Just avoid the stench of the ego.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to smell it.
Ooh, that's
You know?
good too, yeah.
Yes. And by the way, I think, don't get me started on the digital world, but I think that the digital world, is, especially social media and the fact that it's in everyone's phones, which is why I don't own one, is it's made us all toxically egotistical. And not, not on purpose,
No.
In fact, I think the egos were healthy before they started getting enslaved by the algorithms. So, I don't know.
That's the thing. It's ego, but like a very fragile sort of form
It is
of
fragile.
it,
These
right?
days
It's
it seems like it's getting even more fragile. But I like to be
You have to be hopeful.
I choose to believe the best in everyone. It makes life so much easier. Was that Oscar Wilde?
I don't know.
Sounds good. Famous writer.
Yeah.
But life has a way, I've learned and learning, and life has a way of humbling us if we're paying attention every moment, every day.
Yeah.
So back to the idea of creating for your soul.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right.
You're asking all
That's
of
where
us.
that freedom is, right?
Okay.
You know?
So my turn to answer?
Let's hear it.
All right.
What are you creating,
I
Rama?
don't get enough airtime. No, I do. We had to actually cancel a whole show because I took up way too much airtime once. True story, right?
Well, you're excited.
I'm not proud of it, but
It was an opportunity.
that was a big learning opportunity. And as I talk about the listening and talking, a gentleman, maybe at the gym, was talking about one of his jobs, and the CEO was having a meeting, and he came in and said, "Hey, everybody, I just want to say, listen, talk," which I thought was so simple yet profound. Anyway, what was the question? What are we creating?
What are you creating for your soul?
For my soul.
What's your soul's medicine right now?
Oh, well, this TV show is one. Screenplay, which is two, which maybe we'll talk about at some point, but it's copyrighted. First screenplay, many more in the works. So screenplays, created for my soul, and love, and just being able and open to love. And
Amen, man.
And I shared with Emily, I'll be vulnerable here and share with you, Andre, and share with our viewers and with Mark. It's about a month and a half ago I actually fell in love. Remember that? With myself. Yeah. For the first time ever, legit. It's like, whoa.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. And it didn't make me instantly magically content with everything or confident with everything, but it's just like an awakening. All right. Anyway, so to awaken to more love and be a more loving person is my creative thing.
You can create love.
Yeah. And what was the question again? Can we ask Andre?
Yeah.
Please.
What are you creating for your soul right now?
Well, I want to get back to what you just said, though, about falling in love for the first time in your life with yourself. You're no spring chicken, and neither am I. We're older than this nice lady. Capitalism does a number on our ability. Look, I love my country. I've been very critical of it lately because it's fallen apart.
Amen.
And we all want to save it, right? But, I still feel that, young people today are so different than we were growing up, but in many beautiful ways. I love this generation. They're less materialistic. They're less homophobic. They're less misogynistic. They're less racist. They love the planet. They're confused as hell. They're depressed and they're anxious, and I love them, and I'm on their side. But being around them, you can feel. I feel the difference in our years, and this whole notion of loving oneself. I grew up in a time where, you go do shit. We're human doings. We're not human beings, and especially, I don't know if this is true. I think feminism has done so many wonderful things, but it's also now. And this is, old story, but women now have all the diseases that men had. And, the corporate CEO happens to be a female human being, is making her $500,000 a year, but never sees her kids and drinks too much and is under stress and all this stuff. And so I still think it's really hard to get to a state of self-acceptance. I don't know. I think we don't live in a culture that values you just for being alive. What are you doing? How are you contributing? On one level, it's not all bad. I think that, you are what you do in a lot of ways. But anyway, what I'm saying is I applaud you and I toast you, and I think it's wonderful. So to answer your question, what am I doing for my soul? You probably don't either. I don't consciously think about what I can do for my soul. I will tell you that as a father of 3 human beings, I've been a dad for 32 years and boy, girl, boy, and I feel like my spiritual life began and then opened up once I became a father. And I don't know if that's true for everybody, but who gets the gift of kids, adopted or biological, but that's happened to me. And so I guess, Hemingway said, when you have a child, the world forever takes a hostage.
Could you say?
When you have a child, the world forever takes a hostage. because you'll never love or fear more strongly than you do about those kids. And so when you say, what are you doing for your soul? I try to be a really good dad. And I try to be present. I try to be a really good husband. I try to be present. I try to be a good son. I try to be a good teacher. I try to be a good brother, uncle, what have you. And so I'm not trying to do anything for my soul. What I found over the years is that if I find myself giving to others, I feel bigger. And it's not why I'm doing it. But if I find myself not giving, I feel smaller. And I do think we're here. You want to hear my theory of why we're here?
Please.
I have a theory.
Please.
I think we're all supposed to find out who the hell we are, and then once which is easier said than done, I think we're supposed to live an authentic life. Your life, my life, Mark's life. We're supposed to find what it is that makes us us, and we're supposed to do that. Whether it makes money or not, whether it gives us fame and fortune or not, whether our parents approve of it or not.
Our authentic self.
The authentic self. And then on top of that, I think we're supposed, this is also simple and not easy, I think we're supposed to learn how to love and be loved. That's it.
You talked about that in one of your
One of the essays?
One of your essays. And I think Emily had that on her thing about one of the questions. May we interject? Or do you want to
Please
finish your
do.
thought?
No.
Finish your thought about how to
Interject all you want.
Right. Do you want to ask that question about love and be loved?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in your 20s, if I'm remembering, that you met your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late 20s?
Yeah, 20,
what was
28.
it that allowed you to, I want to use the word allow again, to allow that to happen?
And be loved. Because you had expressed some, I think if I remember, you had expressed some problem being loved.
Yeah.
Let me know if I'm
Correct.
putting words on.
Yeah, man. I just, I was a small little boy who got beat up a lot until I snapped, and I became a very violent young man. Vigilante. I mean, I hate bullies, so I go after bullies. And honestly, I changed my life. I changed my body from soft to hard. I went from being a victim to a victimizer of victimizers. I didn't realize, I'm a late teens, early 20s, but at the very bottom of it, you probably go deeper into my father leaving my family when I was young, but I don't think I ever, I think I always felt like a piece of shit. Ultimately, I just felt every bad thing I was ever called. And when I met my future wife, being with her, first it was karmic. I felt like I knew her from another lifetime. I felt like I recognized her from another life. And when I was around her, the parts of me that I was not ashamed of felt larger. The parts I was ashamed of felt smaller. My short temper, for example. And she felt the same. And the thing is, I wanted nothing to do with marriage. I just associated it with, divorce and heartbroken kids and living in poverty with a single mom, which is how I grew up. But I stepped into that fear, and my wife Fontaine and I have been joyfully together for 37 years. So, wow, my parents were together for 9. One of my favorite lines, and I think it was Henry David Thoreau, from this neck of the woods, said,
full circle here.
If the mad dog comes at you, whistle for him.
If the mad dog comes at you,
whistle
for him. Can you explain a little bit more what that means for you?
Step into the fear.
Step into the fear.
Don't medicate it. Don't run from it. Don't react to it. Respond to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
so much, Andre.
This is
What a
beautiful.
pleasure to talk to you.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Grateful
pleasure.
for your
Thank you.
energy, your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. You want to close this out, Rama?
Thank you, listeners, viewers,
Viewers?
for
Listeners and
checking
viewers.
in with Curious Awakenings. We'll see you next time. And thank you to Andre, thank you to Emily, and thank you to Mark. Great job, everybody.